The Variety Artist, episode 14. This one's all about unlocking the secrets of social media. It's short and sweet, but packed with amazing information. My guest on this podcast is the most downloaded juggler in the world. If you want to up your social media game, this is the one to listen to. And make sure to go to my website at thevarietyartist.com to get your free copywriting checklist. Have you ever looked at a blank web page or sales letter or postcard and said, where do I start? Well, this checklist will get you going. It has every component that you need to write copy that sells. Just go to my website at thevarietyartist.com right after this podcast and get it. It's absolutely free. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this podcast on your phone or mobile device and tell a friend. It really helps me a lot. Now let's start the show.
Welcome to The Variety Artist, providing aspiring artists and entertainers with in-depth discussions from top performers from all over the world. So get ready to book some gigs, make some money, and have some fun with your host, John Abrams.
Our guest today has won 9 gold medals in the World Championships of Juggling. He's been on the Steve Harvey and Ellen Shows and worked for AT&T, Microsoft, and Cirque Du Soleil. But you probably recognize him from the many halftime shows he's done for professional basketball teams, the LA Lakers, the Indiana Pacers, the Dallas Mavericks, and many, many more. He's killing it on social media with a combined 1.5 million followers. Variety artists, I give you Josh Horton.
Hello.
How's it going, Josh?
Doing well. How are you?
Really, really good. We're going to talk about the social media thing, because you're just killing it on YouTube. I was watching some of your YouTube videos and things. They're great. Also, we'll talk about the World Championships, all those things. But give us a little taste of your personal life. What does it look like at Josh's home?
Oh, right now?
Yes.
Every day is different. One thing that's really exciting very recently, just last week even, my wife quit her job to join the team.
Oh.
So that's a very major shift around the house, is that we are both home now. She'll be traveling with me for any of my shows or any of my social media things that take me places. And so it's a huge thing that we're both very excited about.
Now, she was a teacher before, right? I read that?
She was a sixth grade teacher.
Oh, sixth grade. That's got to be challenging, huh?
Yep.
Now, tell me about then. You do a lot of basketball halftimes, right?
Yep.
How did that all come about?
So it was very intentional. I grew up playing basketball, and then as I was in college, I was kind of looking for any event that would have me perform, and that included my local small college, or I guess my small college's basketball team. And so they let me do a few halftime shows, and then I was able to get in with Pepperdine, which is the school my mom works at. And I started talking to some of the people that were organizing, the marketing director there at Pepperdine, and he was kind of telling me how big of a market the halftime show scene can be for a performer. And then I just went after it with everything I had. And so it was very intentional. It was a lot of hard work, and I created a very custom act for the basketball venue. I called myself the basketball juggler. I learned how to juggle basketballs. I wore a jersey. I came out to Let's Get Ready to Rumble, which I don't do anymore. But that was kind of the most obvious decision when I was a college kid.
Sure. But when you first started, were you juggling basketballs, and did you customize the whole thing at the very beginning, or what was it standard juggling stuff at the very beginning?
At the very beginning, when I was just doing my college and my mom, it was just kind of normal juggling stuff, and I was going out there and dropping a ton and the thing was, they would let me do it basically whenever I wanted. So that was probably a problem. So I felt like I had to switch it up every time. So it definitely was not basketball themed, and it took me a little bit to where I was able to create that custom act that I could start selling to other teams. Oh yeah.
And now, are you doing that through an agency, or are they looking at your website? How's that all working?
So I spend hours and hours and hours every basketball season emailing every team in the country and following up with phone calls. And I do some hyper-targeted Facebook ads. There are a couple agents that have booked me a couple gigs here and there, but I've never had a manager or an agent that has done a ton of work for me in that industry.
So mainly you book yourself?
Yeah, 90% I've been by myself.
Yeah, most of the people listening to this, by the way, book themselves.
Yeah.
I was talking to Danny Taylor, who does a lot of Broadway and such, and he took the same strategy as you did. When he went to Broadway, he's a percussionist. So he emailed every single percussionist for every single show to sub out.
Yeah.
So he used kind of the same strategy you're using as far as emailing everybody that you know that's in that particular market.
Yep.
All right, a couple things. There's so much stuff I want to talk to you about. I get your phone number and I get your email, and then I friend you on Facebook. On one of my other episodes, I interviewed a guy named Josh London, who is a website guru type of guy. And
Sure.
he sees that I post a little picture of my hedgehog. And I got a lot of response with my picture of my hedgehog. So he gives me this advice. He says, you know what you should do? Because you're getting such a great response on your picture of your cute little hedgehog, you should put together an entire page with your hedgehog doing cute little things. So I friended you on Facebook, and then you sent me a link. And what's on that link?
Yeah, the Instagram account we made for my hedgehog.
and that little hedgehog has over 6,000 followers, right?
Yeah, and the thing there is we got from 0 to 6,000 followers in about a week, and then I stopped posting because I got tired of taking pictures of a hedgehog.
Oh.
So I haven't posted on that thing in a few months, but it could have been probably a very successful account.
I would think so after a week of 6,000 subscriptions in a week.
Yeah, not bad.
All right, so let's get into your social media since we're talking about your hedgehog anyway. You are the world's most downloaded juggler. I was reading that on your website, and I believe it. 1.5 million, it's terrific. I was looking at your Twitter and your Instagram and your YouTube. I got to tell you, when I was doing research for this podcast, I sat down last night and I said, well, let's take a look at this Josh Horton guy and see what his videos look like. And I sat down at a little before 8 o'clock, and I started watching your videos, and then I looked at my watch, and it was 10 o'clock at night. I'd been watching for 2 hours, and I got totally stuck in your YouTube channel watching all your fun videos.
That's awesome. That's what we want to hear.
So I was watching all of your videos. Your videos were the world records and such, right?
Yes.
Tell me about the different world records.
Sure. So every Wednesday on YouTube, we break a world record. We call it World Record Wednesdays, and we are either breaking existing records or setting new world records. That's just kind of a way to have a ongoing series and have something that people can look forward to on a weekly basis. Not all of them are approved by Guinness World Records by any means. I do have 12 official Guinness World Records titles, but those are usually come separately from the YouTube thing. This is just kind of a way for us to create some awesome content with an awesome one sentence summary of what we're doing. So when people ask about what we do on YouTube, we can say, oh, well, we break a world record every week. And that usually gets people going.
I would think so. The one I watched, and one of the neat things that you do is that when you put a video together, a lot of folks, when they do Facebook or they'll do a video, they'll just show all the highlights, all the best parts.
Sure.
And one of the nice things that you do, I notice, that you show the flaws and the missing, but then you show the success at the end. So you show both.
Right. We like to show the journey, and YouTube in general is supposed to be kind of a look into people's lives. I think that's why vlogging is so popular. It's not supposed to be a perfectly polished TV show. It's supposed to give you a look at the realness of life. And there are other channels out there that are kind of in our same category, like Dude Perfect, or kind of like the famous trick shot guys. Mm. And we do a lot of trick shot videos, and we knew we would never be as popular as the 30 million subscriber Dude Perfect, who just throws together a perfect montage. And so we said, oh, how can we make ourselves different? And we said, I think showing the misses, showing the frustration, showing everything that goes into it is a way to let people in kind of behind the curtain. Hopefully that can create kind of a more serious relationship between us and the viewer.
Right. It makes them feel like they're a part of it, or like they could do it themselves, right?
Exactly.
Now you're with a partner. It's Jake and Josh, right?
Jake and Josh.
Tell me about Jake. What is that all about?
So about a year ago, a friend of a friend just kind of introduced me to his videos, and he was just making videos for his friends, just for fun, not trying to get social media famous. He had a different job and was just doing it to be funny, and he loved making videos. I just kind of hit him up on a whim and was like, hey, do you want to move down to Dallas and start making YouTube videos with me? And he was like, sure. And so he took a big risk and moved down here from Kansas City, and kind of the rest is history. It was very helpful to have a second person on camera to be able to, for many reasons, banter between the two of us, competitions between the two of us, just not being an awkward person holding a camera in the middle of public. But then also off camera and just being able to help with the editing. And he's a very good videographer. So that side of things has been really great too.
I was going to ask you about that, about the editing. So he does a lot of the editing on it?
We share it. It's pretty even split. And now we're to a point where we're able to hire some outside editors as well.
Oh, I have a bunch of other questions for you, but can you give us just a few good ideas on how to increase your base, your subscribers on social medias?
Yeah, I mean, the thing you'll hear, open any social media book or go to any conference and they'll say content is king. And that thing is a often heard motto because it's very true. And like, if you want people to like or subscribe or share or leave a comment or whatever it is, they're not going to do it unless that post is really good and something they want to see more of. And so the thing I tell a lot of performers, people complain about their posts not getting seen on Facebook or whatever. And it's just like, before you post anything, ask yourself, would you, if you saw this come up on your feed, would you want to like, comment, share, or follow this person for more? And the answer is no, then don't post it. I think a lot of people post just because they know they're supposed to be on social media and this is supposed to be helping their career, but they'll post like a picture of their trunk on stage. Like, oh, just got to a show. Well, who cares?
Right.
like that's not content. That's just posting just for the sake of posting. And so the biggest thing is to take the time and make the content good. And if you're not going to make the content good, then don't worry about it. And don't complain that you don't have a big social media following.
Sure. And you're intentionally doing each individual video, right? I mean, do you pre-plan it or how does that work out?
Oh yeah. I mean, everything is planned out. Everything's scheduled out. We have, we post every Monday on YouTube. We post every Monday, every Wednesday, every Saturday. Every video has to be between 10 and 15 minutes or so. Every video is a very much, intro, outro, struggle, success sort of time. There's a theme kind of throughout all of them and a storyline that happens every single time. It's not just we throw on the camera and see what happens. So
there's somewhat of a formula.
Sure. And we like to think like we have our own, people don't really understand it. And some people have only seen my, my short videos or just the Instagram little snippets, which they're great. And that's how I first started on social media, was just making 15-second videos. But the YouTube video, it's like we have our own TV channel. We're putting out a TV show 3 times a week.
Yeah, I got hooked in. Hooked in last night. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's terrific. You're doing great stuff. Do you find that there's a particular length of YouTube video that people have a tendency to watch?
Well, we were surprised to learn that people wanted longer videos. Me as a viewer, I don't really like sitting down and watching a 15-minute YouTube video of anyone I follow, but our fans, they want more and more and more. And that's what does well for us. And that's also what helps boost you in the algorithm on YouTube, because minutes watched, or like the longest time, like a duration of watching videos, like what you did last night, watching 2 hours of our videos, like that's exactly what helps boost our channel, is when people go from one video to another and accumulating all those minutes. And so if you can have a longer video, it's going to be easier to, as long as their attention is high, as long as it's not a terrible first few minutes, then they're going to keep watching more and more.
Right. I noticed in a lot of your videos, you get past the longer, tedious portions, like if you're doing the same motion over and over and over and over and over again, trying to get something right. I notice you fast forward past that,
Sure.
Where the audience does see it, but it's fast forwarded. Right.
Yeah, we'll do that even with trick shots. So yeah, we'll show all of our misses, but we'll time lapse it to where they get an idea of how long it actually took us.
Perfect. I also noticed, to help engage everybody, you do a lot of contests.
People love getting free stuff. It's giving away free stuff is also good for business, for like recognizing the juggling store. So every YouTube video, we give away a set of juggling balls. That does several things for me. So a set of juggling balls, doesn't cost me that much money. And on YouTube, we say if you like and comment within the first 10 minutes of an upload, you'll be entered to win a set of juggling balls. And so that automatically has people turn on the post notifications for YouTube. So every single time we post, they get a notification. They know to go like, comment, watch the video, which helps boost our video. So it helps our performance on YouTube. It tells people about my juggling store, and it's able to spread the joy of juggling, which is also important to me. So
yeah, that's what I'm
teaching lots of people to juggle. I'm giving away three sets a week, I guess. Oh,
nice. One of the contests that I noticed that was really cool is you gave away a pizza.
Yeah, that was an old one, huh? Yeah, we We were doing last summer, we were doing 31 days in a row of videos. And for 31 days in a row, we were also giving away some sort of prize. And we were running out of ideas and running out of money. And so, yeah, we were giving away something every single time. And so we thought it'd be a funny idea to deliver someone a pizza.
That's great. So you have somebody in a total another state who gets a pizza.
Yep.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
So what were some of the other prizes? Do you remember?
I mean, we gave away a lot of juggling stuff. We would give away like mystery boxes where we would just kind of put random stuff in a box and send it their way. We've given away drones, cameras. We've done some pretty serious stuff.
So what made you decide to just go for the social media thing?
Well, this one was not super intentional, and now I'm going after it with everything I've got. But I had a real job after college for about 3.5 years working in social media. So I was running campaigns for brands and was running Facebook pages, Instagram pages, Twitter pages for these big brands like Coca-Cola and Sony Pictures and some other big ones. I quit my job to focus on juggling. And so my plan was to be a performer and do focus. I was already doing some, so a lot of shows on the side. But my plan was to do halftime shows, corporate events, all that stuff. But I was like, well, I've learned all of this stuff about social media. I might as well start to grow my Instagram following. I started to do that on the side, and then that started to take off. Then started to grow more. And then, oh, hey, I can get $100 if I post this. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Oh, I can do $500 if I post this. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. And now it's to a point where I make way more money to post an Instagram video than I do to travel to Milwaukee for a halftime show. And so now
are you talking about like corporate sponsors, like a corporate sponsor will pay you for putting up a video?
Yeah. So like incorporating a contest or a product or whatever into a 15 to 1 minute long video is now paying, thousands and thousands of dollars just because of the reach that I have on social media.
Right. Now, where is the tipping point there? Where does it go from the $100, which is all good, but where does it go from that $100 to that $1,000 and $3,000 and $5,000?
Yeah, I mean, to go from the 300 to 5-figure deals now, it's just all about the reach that you're getting. And so if you're able to prove that you're going to be guaranteeing a brand a certain amount of views or likes or comments, then the price is just going to go up and up. And it's part of it is it's like performing. There are magicians that are the same skill that are doing birthday parties versus a $10,000 corporate event. And it's some of it is how much you can sell yourself. But also some of it is the reach and what they're actually getting for their payment. So I'm at a point where I have enough followers and have steady views to where I can charge higher than some people. Yeah.
I would say so. Tell me about the world champion juggling contests.
Sure. So this is something I was definitely more involved in when I was younger. So there's the International Jugglers Association and the World Juggling Federation Championships. They both have lots of different competitions. And so the gold medals that I have are from a variety of different things. It's not like I won the entire big thing. But it's like the Olympics where you can win several, there's lots of events that you can win from. So
like what type of events did you win gold medals in?
So there's like the 3-club freestyle where it's like who can do the best tricks with 3 clubs in 1 minute, or who can do the 7 rings the longest while standing on a chair, or who can do the best single trick with 5 balls, or the best single trick with 6 clubs. There's also combat juggling where you're running around attacking other jugglers. Oh. And then there's the main events where it's like you're the best club routine, the best ball routine, the best ring routine. And then for the IJA, there's just like the main men's the main adult competitions where you do a 8-minute act.
And what type of acts do you do for the difference between like a corporate gig or what are the different types of acts that you do?
I basically have 2 kinds of acts. I have like the 5.5-minute basketball themed act. So I do that a lot, and I'll even do that at corporate events if they just want a quick opening act, because the basketballs are kind of the only thing that I'm still like practicing on a somewhat regular basis. If it's not basketball themed or they don't want basketball, I can also just like incorporate something else into a 5-minute flash act, whatever that is. And then I do have a longer talking show, like 35 minutes or so, where I do work in some comedy and audience participation and whatnot, but I don't do that very often. I probably do it 3 times a year, maybe less now. But right now, I mean, it's to a point where my income is 80% social media. And so I'm really not performing as much as I used to.
Okay, we're going to play a little game. You up for a little game of fact or something John just made up?
Let's do it.
Is it fact? Or is it something John just made up?
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give you a headline, and you're going to tell me if it's fact, something that actually happened to you or something that you did, or is it something that I just made up? Are you ready?
Let's go.
Here's one. Josh has been paid thousands of dollars to not perform his halftime show.
That is a fact.
That is a fact. How did that happen?
It's actually happened 2.5 times, I'll say, where I've gone to do a halftime show, and then they tell me that there's just going to be this little promotion or this little speech from the football coach or something, and then I'll go on, and then whatever is right before me, they just go over and don't stop talking or whatever. And then I don't go and do my act, and I just get to go home. So.
You're like, thank you. I'll take that check. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but I get so frustrated with it. Like, obviously, it's cool, and it's like a funny story to be able to tell friends that you got paid to do nothing. But like, I flew all the way there, got warmed up, had the everything ready to go, and to not do it, it's always really frustrating for me. And it's happened twice. But even more frustrating is when there's been a couple times where I've like said, okay, are you sure there's time for me? It sounds like they'll be like, all right, so there's going to be a shot competition. Then there's going to be like a photo op with the 1972 team. And then you're going to go. And I'm like, is there really time for me? Oh, yeah, plenty of time. And then there's been a few times, like probably 3 or 4 times where I've been out. I've said like, are you sure there's time for me? And they say, yeah, no problem. And then I'm midway through my act, and the announcer says, and that's Josh Horton. And like they shoo me off the court mid-act. And that also drives me nuts.
With no big, I'm sure your act has a big climax at the end that you don't get to do.
There's like music that like builds up to my last trick, and just right in the middle of it, just they shoo me off stage. So it's happened a few times. One time was like, it really was like they brought out like I don't know how old these people were, but basically they were honoring some old basketball team, and everyone was in walkers, and like so it took them 6 minutes to get on the court and 6 minutes to get off. I didn't perform because Grandpa Paul was unable to get off the court.
And did they throw in a free walker too?
Yeah.
They're like, here's your check and free walker. All right, here's another one. Here's another headline. Josh once played beer pong with Jonah Hill.
False. You made that up.
I was hoping that was true.
Well, I've played one-on-one basketball with Adam Sandler.
Is that true?
Yeah.
One-on-one?
Yep.
How did that work out? Was he just in the audience, or how did that work out?
We were just both in a gym playing basketball, and he asked me if I wanted to play.
And you said, yeah.
Yeah. And I whooped him, so that was good too.
Yeah. All right, here's another one. Josh opened for Justin Bieber.
That is also true.
Oh, Justin Bieber's been on my podcast twice now. Well, his name has been on my podcast twice.
Oh, yeah.
He's never been on my podcast, but
yeah,
this is the second one in a row. So you opened for Justin Bieber?
Yes, but this was such a long time ago to where I didn't know who he was, but all of the little kids in the audience were losing their mind about it. And so I'm trying to think of what year it was. I was in college, but it must have been like when he was YouTube famous, but not mainstream famous. Oh. And I just remember, who the heck why are these kids freaking out? But yeah, I did a 30-minute set before he did his concert at like this mega church youth rally.
And the girls were screaming, and you were just, all you were hearing was, Josh.
Right. Exactly.
All right, here's another one. Josh and his wife, Cassie, broke the world record in couples juggling and have held it since 2011.
That is a nice try, but that is not true.
Oh, that is not true.
No, Cassie can juggle though, but no world records for her yet. Now that she's quit her job, I'm going to get her training.
Now, are we going to see her in your videos?
Oh yeah, she's been in several, but yeah, she'll definitely be more involved.
All right, here's another one. Last one. Josh juggled knives over Pamela Anderson in Russia.
That is all true.
Oh, so you went to Russia?
Yeah, this was just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to Russia for a TV show, and Pamela Anderson was one of the celebrity judges.
And I think you posted that. I think I saw that. Are
Yep.
you're slicing fruit? You're like the killer fruit juggler guy, right?
Exactly, juggling fruit ninja.
Is that what it's called? The juggling fruit ninja?
I mean, that's what I call it.
How did that come about? How did you get that?
They just hit me up. I think they had just seen a video and asked me to come out and be on the show.
And that was fact or something John just made up.
That was fact. Or something John just made up.
Do you have a horror story for us? A performing horror story for us?
Sure. I mean, there's been a lot of little things back when I was first starting out and didn't really know what to perform, and it was kind of some rookie mistakes. Like I've had the glow juggling balls that hit the ground and then turned off in the middle of a dark stage, and had to have the house lights come up and cut my song off to go find my glow balls. So that was embarrassing. And I do a trick where I jump in the air while throwing two clubs through my legs, and I've had my pants split during that, so that was no fun.
Oh.
But the one that was the worst kind of recently was we were on the Today Show to break a world record. So it's not like we're performing, but we were trying to do a world record on the Today Show. And we were pretty confident at the idea of the record and had practiced. And then it kind of got to the couple days before, and we just weren't doing very good. This is most marshmallows caught in your mouth in a minute.
Okay.
And we had broken it several times, but we were getting a little nervous about doing it on TV. And when it came time for the real thing, we did not perform, and was pretty frustrated and sad. And, such a cool opportunity that we did not capitalize on. And then a couple weeks later, we were like, all right, well, here's a juggling festival. I'm the special guest at the Kansas City Juggling Festival. I will redeem myself and we'll break it on stage there. Final act of the, hour and a half juggling show. All right, Josh is going to come back out. He's going to try to break a world record. All right, let's do it. We try 5 times. Don't do it. That's the end of the show. Oh my gosh. And then that was also terrible. And then finally we ended up submitting our video alone in a gym. And so we have the official Guinness World Record, but it was not an easy path.
You're like, really? I can do it. Really?
Yeah.
Now, what's the deal with your juggling store?
So jugglingwarehouse.com is my juggling store, and it is operated out of Erie, Pennsylvania. We launched a line of Josh Horton juggling balls, which we've sold 4,500 of online, which is pretty sweet. It's been going well. We've only been in operation for about a year or so, but it's been going well.
So give us some advice for the beginner, someone who's just kind of starting out in the entertainment business. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I have a lot to say on. I think we could have talked an hour just on this. But the biggest thing is to find a niche and to go after it with all you've got. I think I've proven that with the halftime shows. I always take a step back and look at what I did with the halftime shows. But I think, well, if I had chosen colleges, or if I had chosen cruise ships, or if I had chosen corporate events, I think I could have been just as successful in that market. Mm-hmm. And I've had some jugglers get mad at me when I say this, but I think it, and I think it applies to most variety performers. If you work hard at the business side of it, I think it's very easy to be a professional juggler. I think you just have to choose which one it is. And I have a lot of friends who are struggling as a juggler, and that those are the ones that get frustrated by it. But I think it's because they're the ones trying to market themselves to everything kind of poorly, instead of just marketing themselves to a couple things really well. And so that's my biggest advice, is to first choose what you want to do. And part of that is experimenting and finding what you enjoy. And some of it, you obviously can't just start out doing cruise ships, or you can't start out doing corporate events. But the biggest thing is once you find out what you want to do at that time, at that point in your life, you have to go 100% at it and act like it's your full-time job, because it is. And so that's the biggest thing, is people complain that they're not getting gigs. And I was like, well, what did you do today? Well, slept until 12.
Yeah.
Checked my email and didn't have any, so went and got a sandwich, and then went out at night. So
Right.
Okay, well, I made 40 phone calls and sent a bunch of emails and filmed a few videos to promote on Facebook and blah 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 blah.
Right, and all for one specific market, or at least at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, so, I give that exact same advice for magicians, jugglers, any type of variety artist. In fact, next week I'm interviewing a guy named Steve Trash, and he specializes in recycling shows.
Yeah.
And that's what he chose to do. He loves doing it, and that's what he chose to do. I have other folks that I have interviewed before, and they've chosen one path.
Yeah.
If you take that one path, it's so much easier to be successful.
Oh yeah. It just narrows down the approach so much more, so you don't have to work as hard.
Right. Well, and not only does it narrow down the approach and it gives you better ideas and more focus in one direction, but when someone is hiring you from the outside, if they're looking at Josh Horton, the guy who specializes in halftime programs, and they're looking at Joe Smith, who does some club juggling, some ball juggling, some of this, some of that, and they want to do a halftime show, who are they going to hire?
Exactly. And that's so even though when I was in college, first starting out, I was doing corporate events and I was doing fairs and carnivals and other things like that. I had a website that was my main website, and then I had a separate website, separate promo videos, separate photos that were basketballjuggler.com or halftimejuggler.com.
Mm-hmm.
And so as far as the people knew who I was reaching out to, it looked like that was literally all I did.
Now, how about the working pro? How about some advice for the guy who's been doing it for a while?
I think a lot of it still applies. I think the working pro is can be as complacent and fall victim to the complaint game just as much, especially those that have had success a while back and now are not getting as much. And so I think it's still like, is this your full-time job? Well, how many hours a week are you putting in to the business side of it? And yes, going and doing your show is part of the job, but business is something someone told me one time. It was like, business is a bigger word than show and show business. So you could be focusing more on that. So yeah, all that applies. I think the biggest thing, I'm obviously taking it to a different level, but the video is such a big factor right now. I don't even I have a decent website, but when I'm asking people to hire me, I literally just send them a link to a video for halftime shows or whatever. Video is such an important thing, and having updated high quality footage. It is 2018. If your promo video is not totally in 1080p, you're doing something wrong. You go get a phone, takes 1080p. You've no reason to be showing really old grainy footage. Even some old TV show stuff probably isn't relevant anymore. If it's not good quality, take it out of your promo video. Update your music. I see some of the worst graphic promo videos with the 1990s 3D font, and I would click out of that as soon as possible. So making sure and if you need to hire someone younger to do it. I'm talking to some the older performers who are still using their promo video from 1999.
Sure. And technology has changed so much just over the past 5 years, 6 years, that it used to be years ago, you'd use, for example, newspaper testimonials. Newspapers would say, hey, he was great, whatever. And now there's no such thing as a newspaper anymore. So we need to update those things, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Josh, for doing my podcast. You are awesome. Where can someone get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you?
Sure. If you go to joshhorton.net, that has all my social media handles. It has my email. So that's the place you can go, or Juggling Josh on your favorite social media platform, whether that's Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and anything. Juggling Josh. Juggling Josh.
But I remember your YouTube channel has a different name, right? Or does it?
Yeah, it's Jake and Josh, but it is youtube.com/jugglingjosh. So you'll find me. It's hard to not find me if you're looking.
Well, thanks again, Josh, for doing my podcast. Thanks to all my variety artists. If you found this podcast valuable, tell a friend. That's how we can spread the word. Oh, and next week, make sure to listen, because I'll be interviewing, like I mentioned before, Steve Trash, the rock and eco hero. Don't miss it. And feel free to reach me at email at john@thevarietyartist.com, or join my Facebook group at The Variety Artist, where you can ask me to ask questions of our guests. Or I'm on Twitter at The Variety Artist with an S on the end, no T because there wasn't room. Or visit my website at thevarietyartist.com, where you'll find super informative blogs and all the show notes from today's awesome interview with my friend Josh. Now go on out and book those gigs, make some money, and have some fun.
That's all for this episode of The Variety Artist, but your journey continues on our website. Go to thevarietyartist.com for more strategies, insight, and resources, as well as show notes on today's guest to assist you in your career. We'll see you on the next episode of The Variety Artist. But until then, go out and book those gigs, make some money, and have some fun.